can I say bad words because I'm a cursing person?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Say whatever the you want.
Awesome. So, yeah, nobody cares. Magodeo.
Okay.
It's Wizard of Oz, but in Spanish. Like the name.
Hey everybody, I'm Wayne, your metal professor. First, thank you so much for checking out this video from the millions of others you could have chosen.
Thank you.
It was my unbridled pleasure to catch up with Patri Grief and her band Pirate Queen at Epic Fest in Roskilde, which I'm probably mispronouncing, Denmark, in April of this year, 2025. Pirate Queen have one album out so far, Ghosts, with 2 singles, Pirates from the Sea and the title cut. It's heavy, it's catchy, it's exceedingly well played, it's all well worth your time and your energy and your money as far as that goes. At the end of a long, arduous, metal-filled day of bursting eardrums and making heads explode, Patri was kind enough to sit down with me for nearly an hour, actually. And we talked about all kinds of things. Oh, this interview, we talked so long, this video is just part 1 of 2. The interview will be continued, so enjoy this, then come back for the sequel. Mostly, we didn't talk about the standard interview things, like, is a new album coming? The answer is yes, by the way. I don't know when. The yes is all I know. There's nothing wrong with those questions. I'm just interested in different things. For example, I asked Patri her thoughts about the state of women in metal. I know what you're thinking, by the way. If you've been in metal for a while, you're thinking, that's old news. To the rest of the world, though, women in metal is not old news. It's new news. And fairly shocking.
What the f***? I mean...
What the
Patri wore a mask during the interview because she had a cold and didn't want to cough or sneeze on me. So that was very polite, very considerate. Also kind of a shame because Patri's a heartbreaker. She's a tremendous guitarist and she's not finished getting better, actually. She entered a music conservatory a couple of years ago. She is in the final couple years of the program, as I understand it, studying classical guitar because she wants to be as good as she can be at it. So that's cool. Now, what else about Patri Grief? Well, she's smart. She's thoughtful. She's quite considerate, as noted. She's pretty damn funny. She's just cool. She's Patri Grief. Enjoy the interview.
There are a lot of misconceptions about metal and metalheads, among people, who are not of the tribe. And I think that if they knew about the woman metal scene, it could be really validating, both for metal and for women. Yeah, so I'd like to spread the word.
Yeah, I mean, that actually means a lot because I think culturally, now we are taking a little bit more space. It's truly great, and it shows that people are way more accepting than before. Because I remember when you first started looking for female role models, and you check Joan Jett, and she says that everything that happened to her and how they treated her. And now it's way different. It's more like people are way more accepting towards metal bands with female members or all female members, which is great. Also, at some point, I hope it is like completely irrelevant to anybody. What I mean is, when it gets to the point in which nobody cares if you're man or woman and they only care that you play good, that moment will be the best one. Like, okay, no one really cares. We don't have to break anything. We don't have to make noise to make a spot for us on stage. Because, one of the things I hate as someone who has tried to, be as perfect as possible with her technique and so on, I don't like being given a space just for the fact that I'm a woman. I like
Right.
the fact that I want, if there's competition, I want to compete not in another category, like a female category that is
Yeah.
supposed to be worse than the male category. I want to be there and I want to beat them all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe right now it's not possible, or I should get better at playing. You can always get better at playing, but I think the spot should be like in music, at least. I think there should be this kind of competition. At least in classical music, it's more anybody can enter. Like at the conservatory and all the
Oh, yeah.
the contests that you can get in, they don't give a real. Can I say bad words because I'm a cursing person?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Say whatever the you want.
Awesome. So, yeah, nobody cares. Of course, we have still a lot of things to fight for, because there's talking about equality a lot, and there are still some things. It depends on the country. At least in Spain, every day it's getting better, but in general, I think I'm seeing an evolution. There's still a lot to do, and it's great that there are these bands, these all-female bands, because it's a way, like, in some way, it's like people really enjoy the fact that it's all women in a scene that usually has been men forever.
Yeah.
So people, I think, they enjoy it dearly, and at the same time, I think it's some kind of a wave of feminism, and we are opening a little bit of a spot for us. Also, the fact that we have a trans woman in our band, that is like, for me, I feel like most people would. I thought at the beginning that it would be harder for people to accept her as a member of the band, like the audience. But nobody gives a fuck, and that's fucking great. Like nobody cares if she's. There's a. Apparently, she went down to talk to a boy, to a trans boy, who came here all the way from Norway just to see her, and that's representation matters a lot, and I think that's super beautiful. And for me as a lesbian, same thing. Like, I think that's super cool.
That is cool. I had no idea that you had a trans woman in the band, and I don't give a fuck, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's the best. Like nobody's gonna say. I think the metal scene is super accepting of people. There are of course these guys who are always gonna be like, "Yeah, women can play," and so on, because we had that at the very beginning when we first released our first music video. I remember there was this Spanish site that was roasting completely the band because it's like, oh, they only pick the beautiful ones, blah blah blah, or they don't know how to play, it's all fake, and whatever. And then we were like a little bit sad, but at the same time, it's like, let's not make a big fuss about this. The times we have played and so on, like everybody has been super accepting, very into it, very willing to participate in the games that we play on stage. And so far, I haven't heard a single bad thing from the people who came to the show. Like everybody really enjoyed it a lot, and they don't care. I mean, sometimes there are these girls who come and say, "Okay, I'm super happy that you are here because you're an all-female band. That's super cool," and I think that's representation matters. But at some point, I hope there will be as many girl bands as boy bands and mixed bands that nobody will need to have that, like, because
Yeah.
you can choose from a lot of different bands.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And I have to admit that I didn't become aware of like the all-woman metal scene until like 3 years ago. I don't remember who it was. Said, "Well, you should listen to Burning Witches."
No,
And I
yeah.
did, and I went, "Holy shit!" And then I started looking and finding bunches of all-woman bands that sounded so fresh. I mean, I not just. I mean, I don't like all-woman bands just because they're all-woman bands, but it's like y'all are bringing something new to the table, some new kind of twist on the sound. At least that's what I hear, anyway.
I think the ones that get popular, it's because they are good. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they wouldn't get popular just because of the fact that they were women. Because we already got some. You gotta be good, or
Yeah.
at least you've gotta bring something new or something fresh, as you said, or have a good image or something. And sometimes, like, I remember at some point, there was this video that we put, the Pirates from the Sea video. The title was changed. I don't know by whom, but it's changed to, what was it? All female band from Bermuda Triangle plays whatever thing. And we got all so fucking pissed. And everybody in the comments when they saw that were so pissed. Like, why would you care? It's like if you like the song, you like the song, and if you don't, you don't, and that's it. But there's nothing more to it.
I saw that. I saw that headline. I'm like, okay, you couldn't just say new single from Pirate Queen, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think there's still any like lingering resistance
What do you mean
toward
lingering resistance?
toward women in metal? Like, for example, I reviewed a Burning Witches show that I went to in Dallas, and somebody commented, and it was clearly a guy who basically said, "Yeah, their sound is inconsistent. They're only popular because of luck." And I don't know what the hell else he said, but he was equally stupid. And whoever you are, if you're watching this video, yeah, I am talking the about you. Um, and it was just, I mean, it was clearly just this misogynistic thing. Do you think there's still a lot of that?
It really depends on the country, and it really depends on the people. Usually people who will, from my point of view, people who will say mean things usually are like uh, poor-minded people who really need to get their shit together. Because one thing is being a critic. Like, for example, I tell you, I go to whatever gig and I say, okay, I didn't enjoy it because of this, that, and that. And that's it. And no point, nothing else. But saying that somebody is there by luck means you know shit about music. Because
Yeah.
nobody's getting there by luck.
Yeah.
You're not there. I mean, maybe you can have something that helps you a little bit, but luck, I think it's being so much everywhere that eventually you get noticed by someone. Like you get to work so much, and you present yourself to so many bands. You do castings, you send videos, you post videos on YouTube and whatever. That eventually maybe one of them goes viral. But that's not luck. It's being consistent and simply working on your music. And if you have a bad show and you are inconsistent or you don't play good, that could happen to anybody. I mean, you could get sick, you could get, I don't know, maybe you had somebody in your family who died and you're not concentrating on what you gotta do. Like people who criticize like that don't think the many things that could happen to a person when they're playing. Like usually you want to do perfect and you want to be, have like a great feeling and play great and not miss any note. But in reality, that almost never happens. You always
Yeah.
f up sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe you can, I don't know, that's ridiculous. Get your head smashed with a mate. Like, for example, today, I wanted to go to the other side of the stage and there was a person in the middle, and that happens a lot. And that's a little bit, it looks silly, but it happens.
I didn't notice it.
Yeah, well, that's also the other side. Like, it's very hard to notice mistakes unless they're like very obvious mistakes from the musician. And still, most people in the audience will probably not care about it as much. And I think those critics are probably either they failed as a musician because they had a band when they were 20 and they wanted to make it big and never happened.
Yeah.
Either they're not good playing, and that makes them criticize others a lot, or either they have something else happening in their lives and they need to express it somehow. Like sometimes it happens. It happens to everybody. Like you're super angry at whatever thing that happened, and you have to pay it with the first person who comes up,
Yeah.
which is not the best thing to do. But we are all human, and that happens.
Speaking of guitar things, God, you're good.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. You have a gift, obviously, but I know people who've been playing guitar for decades and decades. I'm one of them, and we're not a fifth as good as you are. Is there an elixir or something? Because if there is, I'll buy it.
I mean, I've been playing guitar for 20 years already, so it's been a while. I started playing guitar when I was 9. I wasn't very consistent though, but I've always been kind of obsessed with technique and sweep picking. When I heard first time about sweep picking, I was like, okay, I want to do it. Just because my teacher said this is the hardest thing to learn on guitar, and I'm like, yeah, bring it on. I don't think I've ever been gifted. It's just hard work. I don't know if this phrase rings a bell, but it's like some people call a gift to practice 14 hours a day, and I truly believe in that. There were some times in my life in which I was practicing like 5 hours a day. And now I entered the conservatory a couple years ago to get classically trained and learn all the theory parts that I was missing. And it has changed me a lot, and how I perceive myself as a musician, and how I perceive music in general. There are a lot of people who want to play 100 trillion notes in a second, which is cool. But you gotta make it musical somehow, and it's cool to show off. I tend to do that a lot whenever I can, if I can. But it's like, I don't know, it has changed me as a person also, because I'm like, this at the conservatory is just like, because I play classical guitar, but it's like I've been playing classical guitar for 2 years, which is the years that I've been at the conservatory. It's usually 14 years that you have to do. I entered directly into the career, which is the last 4, by doing a test, which was the worst time of my life. For real, I played awfully because also it was not my instrument, and now it also puts you down. Like, okay, there are kids, because I'm already at 29, and they play so good, but so good, and they're just kids, and then they do things that I admire. And by all this, because I talk a lot, what I mean is the fact of being open to learn from others, no matter the level, will always boost your playing somehow. So yeah, I don't think I have a gift. I only have been playing for a very long time. The simple fact of saying that makes me a little bit nervous, because I don't want to say that I play better than anybody or whatever. It's just like, yeah, I don't think I'm gifted at all.
Well, I would disagree, but hey, but and I don't, but yeah. Oh, speaking of like technique and stuff, Open Fire. When when I heard that song, both the rhythm and the lead bits, I thought Adrian Smith of Iron Maiden, because it really reminded me of that. Like you're so melodic in the lead bits.
Oh, thank
Did you
you.
have any? Did you have any particular, goal in mind, or influence or inspiration in mind with that song?
When I was recording, I thought, because I have another band which is called Norvold, and you know about it? Well,
Yeah.
I have two albums that I composed fully since the very beginning, everything, keywords, everything. And the second album that we draw, there's a fucking hard ass solo, which is one last step. I don't know if it was like 250 notes per minute. I was gonna say per second. Yes, I wish. And that solo took me a lot to practice and play. And a couple years later, when I started listening to it, I still enjoy it. But then I think you could have been way more melodic, even while shredding and so on. And then it's like, okay, you already proved that you can sweep peak. That's fine. That's cool. Everybody knows. Then try to do something different this time. And I went for a super simple solo, which I think was cool. Sometimes I think people are gonna look at me and think that I don't know how to play because this is so simple. But then at the same time, it's like, playing well doesn't mean playing fast all the time. So yeah, enjoy it a little bit. I had that goal of making it simple and play a little bit with harmonic minor, and that's it. That's the only thing that I had in mind because it suited the song so well. I thought it's like a heavy, thrashy song that gets you like moving your head and banging a little bit. And I thought it wouldn't make a lot of sense to do crazy runs on it.
The song that I always think of with a real thrashy solo that doesn't fit is it's an old one. It's some ballad by Poison, but it's kind of beautiful and soft, and then CC DeVille comes in with 8,000 notes, and it's like, okay, wait, that just kind of okay, you just kicked me right out of the composition.
Yeah, like I think there's music now that I'm studying this kind of thing. There is music that is made to be studied, and there's music that is made to be enjoyed. And when you are able to make that difference, you understand that most people, if you're like people who are going to enjoy a crazy solo, are probably guitarists who know either how to play, either they wish they played like that. But most people, if you ask like random people who are not musicians, if they prefer like a cool lead that they can sing or a crazy solo, most of them will say a solo that they can remember and sing later.
Well, can I ask you a couple of personal questions about your experiences with metal?
Ah, sure.
Do you remember when you first got hooked on metal?
To a what?
When you first got hooked on metal, when you first went, oh, these are my people. This is the music I enjoy.
Well, I've always kind of been a metalhead because I have a big brother. He's 6 years older than me, and he started listening to metal. And as a little sister, I was, mistreated by my big brother as always, and I was kind of forced into it, and also, forced, and also you want to to please your big brother, and also I actually enjoy the music because I could remember. I remember the first band that I was listening a lot to was Mago de Oz from Spain.
Was who?
Mago de Oz.
Okay.
It's Wizard of Oz, but in Spanish, like the name. It's a folk metal band in Spanish. They are so big in Spain and Latin America. We used to listen to it in the car forever, like all the time. Then we started listening to Tierra Santa, which is also a band from Spain that is like similar style. Later on, my brother started listening to Nightwish, and that was the exact moment in which I said, okay, I wanted to play guitar before knowing about Nightwish. I started playing when I was 9, so I think I was a metalhead right away. I wanted to play electric guitar. And then when I first started listening to Nightwish, it was like, wow, what is this? Ghost Love Score. What is this?
What the fuck is this?
This is like the best music ever. And then I started investigating a little bit more on other bands that I might like. I started going to the festival that was close by. I started seeing it, and I went to my first like festival was Leyendas del Rock, which is now like super big.
Yeah.
But back in the day, it was like super small. It was 2 days. It was like 20 minutes away from home, and the headliners were Epica, and I saw them first row when I was like, I don't know, 15. And it got me really hooked into going to the festivals, that kind of music in general, and seeing other bands, because I was the kind of girl who was giving her everything to every single band, no matter if I knew them. So I wanted to go and listen and have fun. And I started listening to a bunch of different bands, and after the years, it was me who showed my brother, like, you're gonna love these guys, and he never listens until he goes to the Leyendas and sees them live, and then he gets completely hooked also. So yeah, I think it's always been there because I've been influenced into it, and I think it's the opposite way for me. And I was listening only to metal when I was younger. And now I'm more opening my mind towards all the styles of music, and I think everything can feed your style and playing and your musical ideas in general.
Can you think of a particular band or album or song that made an especially big impact on you, like whether it's helping you through a tough time or inspiring you, or I went through a really low period in life a few years ago, and I listened to No Surrender by Judas Priest fucking nonstop whenever I drove somewhere. So, like, that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of, but it doesn't have to be negative. And now
Sorry.
you lost your hat.
Yeah,
it's
now
it's
I'm
gone.
I'm just a regular metalhead with super long hair, and that's it.
Yeah, well, that's regular metalhead. Oh God, I so wish I remembered this. Anyway, that's a whole different thing.
You were telling me that you were listening to No Surrender by Judas Priest.
Oh yeah, that was just like an example of, like, for me, for me, that was like a song that helped me get through a really tough period. Was there any such experience for you? And it doesn't have to be negative. I mean, any song or album or band that just made a big emotional impact on you?
Yeah, that was in general all Nightwish with Tarja era was like my soundtrack for my teenage years. I was obsessed. I wouldn't listen to anything else or anything within the genre, like Epica, With Invitation, Delane. I think one of the most important songs for me would be The Gathering by Delane. I don't know if you know it. Back in the day, when I first started Norval, I was like 16 years old, and I was like super excited to have a band. We were gonna make it big like any other band of teenagers, right? And we were practicing a lot. And I remember the first time that we actually met to practice, we only had checked like a couple songs. And one of them was The Gathering by Delane. We were gonna do a cover of it, and we didn't know any other song, and we were playing it on repeat forever and ever, every single rehearsal that we had. And we played it live, this small bar with 3 people on it. And it's a song that made a very big impact, because later when I went to see Delane live, they came to Leyendas del Rock. I cried a little because it meant like when I first started playing live and playing, with other bandmates and so on. I think every song that I actually enjoy usually has an impact on the person I am. Like the lyrics, the harmony usually makes something inside. It gives me, I don't know, strength. I can mention 100 other songs. Like for example, "Make a Man Out of You" from Mulan. It, you know Mulan, the Disney movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, Mulan. Yeah, okay.
Well, that song is also like super inspiring to do stuff. The last days at the gym were like super tough, and I was listening to that on repeat. I think if music is made with love and knowing what you're doing, it doesn't matter the genre. It will probably make an impact on the people that actually enjoy them. But for me, anything that is made with passion and that is like it has maybe not necessarily a big message, but it's something somehow related to my life at some point.